Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, your sanctuary with retreat experts, where we spill the tea on retreat success. Here we dive into crafting transformational guest experiences, talk about how to avoid pitfalls, and unlock marketing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned guru or a budding enthusiast, we've got the inside scoop for you. Join us as we learn how to flourish in this magical world of retreats. Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. This is Shannon, and I am so excited that I have a guest on today who is going to help us out with something that retreat leaders need, because sometimes I think people treat retreats as a hobby, and that drives me insane. So welcome, DeDee, to the show.
Yes, thank you so much, Shannon, for having me. And absolutely, I am delighted and honored to be here with this conversation today.
Awesome. So DeDee, first, why don't you just start off by telling us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I am a mama of two. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. Super proud to be a mom. At the same time, also a mompreneur as well. And I run a company and consulting company called Fit to Profit. And we believe that success is built from the inside out. So in line with retreats, right? Like we believe in recovery just as much, making sure that self-care is a top priority or even a non-negotiable, so we can be thriving as entrepreneurs and business owners. And where I have, been inspired to provide clients is really holistic wellness from physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. And all of that has evolved through the years based on my personal journey, really, from having my own brick and mortar and also now having my virtual business. I understand that the biggest thing when it comes to success is not so much what we think about, but it's often overlooked. And I'm just proud to be able to help entrepreneurs focus on what's the most important for them. And yeah, having this conversation today, hopefully my intention is to share all of my wisdom and also all of my secrets for what it really means to be successful without losing yourself in the process.
Hey, retreat leaders. Are your retreats the hidden gems of the travel world just waiting to be discovered? Well, it's time to shine a spotlight on them. Introducing the ultimate guide you've been waiting for, our free guide, Top 11 Tips for Building an Email List for you, the retreat leaders. Imagine an email list packed with eager attendees, hanging on to your every word and ready to book at the click of a button. We share the blueprint to creating a list that sells. Don't miss out on the action. Learn how to connect deeply with your audience, boost your bookings, and create a buzz that fills every retreat. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these 11 tips are your secret weapon to success. Visit retreatleaderlistbuilding.com now to grab your free copy and start building an email list that sells out your retreats. I love so much about this because I feel like you're hitting on two things for me. It's the fact that, one, you need to have this entrepreneurial mindset for success and what that looks like, but also taking care of yourself along the way, because I find that retreat hosts who are out here teaching mindfulness and self-care practices are not actually doing them themselves. And it's not because they intend to be deceitful or fake. It really is not that. I don't think that's what it is. I really feel like what it is they just get so knee deep into the work and the to-do lists and all the things that they let their own self-care practice go while they're trying to teach others to do self-care.
100%. Again, if it wasn't for my own personal journey of completely burning myself out to the ground, right? Like almost to the point of like breaking it, ending it all till like where I am today. It's just like a lot of times, especially what's also amazing is that most of women are actually pretty resilient. Like we can go for a long time on overdrive, right? For a long time. But if anything, don't wait too long, ladies. I mean, it's like one of those things, we cannot be serving at the highest level when we're not fulfilled, right? Like when we're not taking care of ourselves. So
100%.
Our conversation is going to shed some light on it not being a selfish act, but it's rather a very selfless act, right? By doing more for ourselves so we can do more for others.
Yes, that is something that I feel like I talk about a lot at my own retreats, which is women have a hard time investing in themselves for something like a retreat, believe it or not. And they'll look for any reason, like they might book it in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh, I'm broken. I'm just tired. I'm done. And I need this. And they book it. And then as it gets closer, they're like, I really shouldn't do this for myself. And they'll look for ways to either get out of it or something, right? I've seen this happen so many times and it's super disheartening. And then even when they show up, sometimes they're showing up with this sense of like, oh, I shouldn't be here and what I should be doing something else for someone else and et cetera and so forth. And so I love that you brought that up because that is something that retreat attendees struggle with, along with, I'm sure, retreat hosts in their own way.
Yeah. And I can tell you, since we are talking about what it takes to be successful in business, recovery is a non-negotiable, right? Just like we have to stop and sleep, we have to recover. And it takes time away from our normal environment for us to recharge. But not only that, that's how we can get the information and the connection and also the processing that we deserve to go back to do what we do best. And I honestly love retreats myself. And I actually have a requirement for myself to go on at least once a year to a retreat. And that happens usually at the end, of the school year for me, because I have kids in school. By then I'm like, okay, I'm done. We need to reset. So usually in May or June, right? Like beginning of the summer. And that has to be, again, like that's also, I have established to be my birthday present to myself every year too. It's like I go on a retreat by myself with no families, no obligation. So I love that you're doing this and just really giving that nudge and allowing women to take that opportunity for themselves. I know it's hard to get there, but you probably hear from them that once they're there and once they're done with the retreat, they're like, I'm so glad I came. So thank you for doing what you're doing, especially, having this space to talk about this, because truly it's one of the biggest, I want to say, secrets to success is recovery and making sure that you take care of yourself on this level.
I can honestly say I've not ever had an attendee go, man, that's not something I should have done. Like they leave and every one of them are like, I should have done this sooner and I can't wait to do it again. And it really does completely rejuvenates you in mind and body and just helps you to then fuel yourself in your everyday life. And so that just like you said, you can show up better, more reset, balanced, whatever it is that you were seeking and whatever type of retreat you were going to in order to attain that. So I love this. Now, let me ask you some questions about the entrepreneurial mindset. What does that mean to you? Like, what does that mean as far as like having that type of mindset?
Yeah. And so I want to say mindset is everything, right? Everything when it comes to self-development or personal life or professional, especially entrepreneurship, because we really think that like so many success stories looks like it happens overnight. And it doesn't. I hate to break it down to you, whoever listening in, it doesn't. And that's why you need to recover. That's why you need to go on retreats. You need to refresh and to rejuvenate all of the things. But it comes down to what we teach the 5 core elements of success is first and foremost is really taking full responsibility. What you have in terms of successes or what you don't have just yet in terms of success is you are 100% responsible for that. Right? The responsibility is one. Commitment is the second biggest piece that we talk about because the follow through happens there. And then discipline. Oh, do we have a certain feel about when we hear the word discipline, right? It's probably love and hate at the same time, right?
Well, especially in retreat leaders. A lot of retreat leaders are on this, not all, but there's a good chunk of retreat leaders that are kind of on this spiritual, go with the flow. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And so you're trying to combine that where you don't want them necessarily to lose that spirit, but also understand that, okay, unless you're running and I'm not even going to call it a nonprofit, you're running a negative profit because that's what will happen if you stay in that lovely spirit when it comes to business. You have got to use that third little leg called discipline. So I love that.
Yeah. And then last 2 is pretty self-explanatory because most of us start our businesses with the heart to serve, right? So it's basically service and action. Right? Service meaning like we have to be contributing to ourselves first, then we're contributing to the whole. Last but not least is always staying in action. I mean, those are the 5 pieces, which is our foundation that we teach every single entrepreneur. And doesn't matter what the conversation is around, right? Like whether XYZ is happening in my business, honestly, it comes down to those 5 things, right? Are you 100% responsible, for taking action to implement this strategy, right? It's like from a scale of 1 to 10, you need to be honest with yourself. Like, are you
Yeah.
taking yourself through the process, right? And otherwise, it's like, okay, how committed are you? Why didn't you do the thing, right? Like, again, we're talking about that. And then, okay, are you disciplined with that? Like, it's like you can't get away from wanting to be successful without those 5 elements. And I want to say specifically, that has to do with also how you're managing yourself through the process too, in those 5 areas with your business. Yeah.
Hey, it's Shannon here. I'm just popping in really quickly to ask a big favor. Would you pause the show and go review it for us? Please. Reviews really help us to be able to get more guests and more experts on the show to help you transform your retreats. So if you wouldn't mind pausing and leaving us a review, that would mean everything. And if you're not already subscribed, do that too. So it's almost like there's those 5 areas that you have to be focused on and thinking about and taking care of yourself at the same time,
Yes.
because otherwise one can't function properly without the other, right? Those 5 pillars are not going to be able to function properly if you're not taking care of your self-care. And then if you're not doing your 5 pillars, your self-care probably is not there either. And so they're just going back and forth. What do you think people struggle with the most? I think we might have already touched on it a little bit, but what do you think they struggle with the most when it comes to the 5 pillars?
I want to say that's why it's like the really basic is the responsibility piece, right? It really depends on, how we were raised, like how we look at responsibility. A lot of people get really confused between responsibility and obligation, 2 different things, right? And so comes down to it. And even when it comes to self-care, right? If we talk about it from having the responsibility to ourselves lens, we can't blame anybody, right? Like, yes, we might have obligation. I have kids, I have family, I have, all the things. But at the end of the day, who gets to be responsible for you being well? You see, when we're looking at everything from that standpoint, then we're really empowered to do whatever is necessary. And I know for myself, when I'm really saying that I'm 100% responsible for my well-being, that shifts the whole game, right? Like I can't blame anyone else but myself, right? So I would say that is the biggest piece, because then that's why everything on top of that built on really having understanding of that we are 100% responsible for everything we have and everything we don't have yet.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise be. Because I think, unfortunately, the media will have you blaming. Like it's this blame game. It's the whatever's fault, right? It's the economy, the president, the government, the whatever, new law. It's literally somebody else's fault. It's just so frustrating that, and I'm saying the media really presents it that way. And I always call bullshit on that, because you know what? I don't even care what the economy is doing. It's the economy between your 2 ears that matter the most, because there's always someone who's making shit happen despite the economy. And it is their mindset, and it is about how they're taking responsibility. I love that so much. I didn't expect you to say that, but now that we've talking about it, you nailed it.
Yes, 100%. And I'm telling you, that's honestly from my experience and also leading my clients through it, right? Like when the breakthroughs happen, when they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I get to be responsible, right? I get to create what I want to create. I get to follow through or not, right? But that's a choice, right? And then so your result is a reflection on how much responsibility you get to stand in. So 100%, that has been the game changer for myself and my entrepreneurs, clients.
Hey guys, I'm popping in to ask a quick question. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game and fill those retreat slots faster than ever? Of course you are. That's why you're here. And we've got the toolkit for you, our top 5 marketing tools for retreat leaders guide. This isn't just a guide. It's your marketing guru wrapped up in one easy-to-follow package. Dive into the essentials of social media marketing, where we show you how to leverage those platforms to create a community buzzing with excitement for your retreats. Also, unleash the power of content marketing with strategies that educate and engage your potential guests. Plus, we'll dive into email marketing, SEO, and partnership opportunities that open new doors and bring in streams of attendees. So why wait to make your retreats the talk of the town? Download your free guide today by visiting retreatmarketingtools.com and start transforming your retreat dreams into reality. I love this. Okay, tell me, DeDee, if somebody's struggling with one of these pillars or they're just struggling in their entrepreneurial journey, what can you do for them and how can they find you?
So first and foremost, I am just a message away. I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can even book a strategy call with me directly on our website, which is www.fittoprofit.com, all spelled out, FITTOPROFIT.com. Honestly, let's have a conversation first. Talk about what you're struggling with. Like, what is your one thing that matters to you the most? Because at the end of the day, that's what gets you to take the action, to get you to be responsible for, so to move things forward. So yeah, anything that you're stuck with, especially if you feel like nothing has worked in the past, my business, I don't even know, I'm going to close the doors. Or if you feel like this is closer to an end, I can tell you this, it's not. The one thing that I can guarantee you, as long as you keep going, it's not a matter if you're going to be successful or not, it's a matter of when. So stick with it, keep going, and I'm just a message away.
I love this so much. Thank you so much. And all of those things that she talked about as far as where to find her will be in the show notes. So you can jump on her website or click on the show notes and take a look and connect with DeDee. But thank you so much for sharing these awesome tips. And I am so excited for everyone to take a look at this.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much again, Shannon, for everything with your retreat and also for hosting and allowing people to understand that self-care is that critical. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. Learn more at www.theretreatranch.com. See you next time.